Many of them started with her when they were really young, like in their early 20s, and they worked, as she says.
So we're diving into something really fascinating today. It's this whole idea of the political power behind just getting dressed. Have you ever stopped to think that what you wear, especially if everyone's watching you, it stops being just about, fabric or trends. It starts becoming about something else entirely, maybe defense or strategy, definitely power.
That's exactly the tension, isn't it? And that's what we're digging into. This deep dive is all about Michelle Obama's perspective.
Yeah.
Her insights on style, sure, but also identity purpose. It's drawn mostly from her book, The Look, and, the conversation around it. What's really interesting is we're not just looking at pretty pictures. We're reading a memoir through the lens of a wardrobe, a very political wardrobe.
Right, that tightrope she had to walk.
Yeah.
So the big question for us is, how did she actually make that shift? Going from seeing style as this, frustrating thing, this constant media distraction, to using it really strategically as a tool, a tool for communication, for empowerment.
And this is why it matters, why you should care. This isn't really about high fashion in an elitist way, not at all. It's much more about connecting something personal like style to these huge social themes. Race, gender, power, who gets represented. It's kind of a masterclass, really, in how being intentional can turn something every day into, a statement.
Okay, so let's rewind a bit, go back to the start. When she first stepped onto that huge national stage, what was it like, that constant scrutiny of her style? What was the toughest part?
She talked about it pretty vividly. Her appearance, what she looked like, it was always the first thing people talked about, always the lead. She says, what I wore, how my hair was styled, that became the story. Often it just overshadowed whatever else she was trying to do or say, her policy work, her message. And the really critical thing here is how fast that scrutiny got tangled up with race.
Can you give us an example? How did that political weight actually play out in the commentary?
Well, she was constantly having to manage comments that were way beyond just, oh, I like that dress.
Oh.
The sources we looked at really highlight this need she felt to respond to things like the nonstop talk about her arms. People saying they were too masculine, maybe too revealing for First Lady, that kind of thing. And she also had to push back specifically against these racialized cliches about her physique, her presence, how she carried herself. She figured out pretty early on she had to dress strategically to, disarm people, but also project authenticity at the same time.
Wow. That sounds like a political minefield, basically. Every single choice, a potential trap. Yeah. Like if she wore something really bold, maybe she's seen as too aggressive or a distraction.
Yeah.
But if she played it safe, wore something super traditional, then maybe she felt like she was erasing herself or what she stood for.
Precisely. That's the bind. She realized people were looking, constantly looking. And the key move, the evolution, was shifting gears from just reacting to all the comments to actively, intentionally crafting the message she wanted her clothes to send. It was a conscious choice, a strategic one, to make her appearance invite people in, not push them away.
Okay, but to really get that strategy, we need to look back, right? Where did this style even come from? It wasn't created in some, fancy high fashion lab, was it?
No, not at all. It goes way back. Deep roots in her Chicago upbringing, her style DNA, you could call it. She shares these really wonderful, specific memories of what inspired her early on. Things like watching the fabulous Soul Train aunties on TV.
Oh, yeah.
And just observing the cute girls, as she puts it, who always showed up looking sharp in her brother's basketball games. And shopping at local places like Evergreen Plaza, finding clothes that had personality.
I think my favorite image she paints, though, it's from church, the ladies at church. She mentions specifically the hats with the grapes coming off the side. Yeah.
That detail, yes, that tells you everything, doesn't it? It shows that how you presented yourself in her community, it was serious business. It was deeply meaningful. It was about respect, showing pride, your heritage, not just, following some trend. And the book really maps out that journey, doesn't it? Chronologically, from those early influences through the sort of necessary practical looks on the campaign trail.
Right.
Then the super visible White House years, and now the post-White House life, where she's clearly embracing more visual freedom.
Yeah, you see that with the casual denim, the bold suits, different hair textures.
Exactly. It's a whole new chapter.
And there's this really powerful internal insight she shares, which kind of connects the personal feeling with the strategic action. It's that core idea. Confidence cannot be put on. You can't just wear confidence. But, she says, when you're wearing something that's intentional or beloved, clothing can make you feel like the best version of yourself.
And that phrase, best version of yourself, that's key. It shifts the whole conversation about style away from just like ticking boxes on a fashion checklist.
Yeah.
It becomes about feeling grounded, authentic.
Yeah.
And that feeling, that's the engine. That's what allowed her to then use her wardrobe for bigger things, for political and cultural impact.
And she definitely did leverage it. Let's get into the specific, deliberate strategy behind who she chose to wear. She's pretty open about how she used her visibility as a platform, right, for inclusion.
Absolutely. She saw that being seen, especially in the White House, had real consequences, economic ones, cultural ones, a ripple effect. Every choice became about, as she put it, opening opportunities up. She consciously pushed against that Washington tendency to just stick with, the way it's always been done.
Yeah.
Instead, she asked, okay, who never gets this kind of chance if we don't choose differently this time?
So it really wasn't just about looking great. It was like economic policy through fashion choices. Who were some of the people she championed, and what was the statement behind those choices?
Well, she made these very deliberate choices to where young designers, people just starting out, emerging designers, black designers, immigrant designers, often people who, weren't getting that big mainstream spotlight. And she used her platform to actually say it out loud, that the fashion industry itself is largely built on the backs of immigrants. So her personal choice is directly connected to this broader political point about diversity, labor, who builds things.
That sounds like a powerful approach, but I wonder, did the sources talk about any downsides, any challenges with being that strategic all the time? It must have required just constant, maybe exhausting precision.
Oh, exhausting is probably the right word.
Yeah.
Because the execution had to be pretty much flawless.
Right.
And that brings us straight to her team, the people who made it happen. She talks about them beautifully in the book, calls it a love letter to them. She mentions Meredith Koop, her stylist for many years.
Right, the main stylist.
And then the glam team, the trifecta. She calls them Carl Ray, Yen Dam Tu, and Jerry Radway.
Why put so much emphasis on the team? I mean, weren't they just doing their jobs, essentially?
Well, yes, but they were the engine of that intentionality we're talking about. The sources really emphasize their incredible commitment, and importantly, without a lot of ego. Many of them started with her when they were really young, like in their early 20s, and they worked, as she says, without fanfare. Their goal wasn't to become celebrity stylists themselves. It was purely about supporting her strategy, her message. They were absolutely crucial in making sure every look was, yes, accessible, but also deeply aligned with her values and, frankly, politically smart.
Okay, so if we boil down what the sources are saying, it seems like there were three main ways this strategy worked during those really high-profile years.
Yeah, I think you could break it down like this. First, visibility. Using that huge platform to shine a light on diverse talent, often overlooked talent.
Okay, visibility, got it.
Second, accessibility, that skillful mix of high-end fashion with stuff you could actually buy off the rack, making her style something people could admire but also maybe connect with personally.
Right, the high-low mix, makes sense.
And third, empowerment, making sure every single choice felt right to her, was grounded in her own values. So she felt like that best version of herself and could show up fully, authentically, for the demanding work she was doing.
Okay, visibility, accessibility, empowerment. That makes sense. Now, speaking of empowerment and maybe personal grounding too, let's shift to hair, because that's become maybe the most talked about style statement after the White House. She specifically says she didn't wear braids while she was First Lady. She worried it would be a distraction.
That's correct. She felt that if she had worn braids back then, quote, that would be all people talked about. That it would just completely overshadow her actual work, her initiatives. And look, that fear wasn't unfounded, was it? Remember the huge media fuss when she just cut her bangs?
Oh yeah, Bangate.
Right, so she didn't want the complexities and, frankly, the politics of her hair to just swallow the whole narrative.
But then, after leaving the White House, the braids appeared. And while she says the first reason was practical, convenience, freedom, movement, choice.
Which are all valid.
Totally valid. But it's pretty clear, reading between the lines and looking at the context, that this was also a major cultural statement, especially given the whole fraught history around policing black hair.
Oh, absolutely. It was deeply intentional, even if also practical. A powerful statement of freedom. It was fundamentally pushing back against that systemic bias, where companies, HR departments, society often dictate what counts as appropriate or professional black hair, whether that's wigs or locks or braids, extensions, straight, natural, curly. There's always scrutiny. By choosing braids, post-White House, on that massive platform she still has, she was essentially saying, loud and clear, anything I choose to do with my hair is appropriate. It is professional. It was about normalizing that personal freedom, that choice.
And I love that she explicitly credited the younger generation, women of color who she said are already breaking the mold. She acknowledged she was, in a way, following their lead, using her visibility to validate what they were already doing. That felt significant.
It really did. It showed solidarity.
Yeah.
So when you pull all these different threads together, the scrutiny, the roots, the strategy, the team, the hair, the big takeaway, I think, is pretty clear. Style isn't frivolous, not when it's done like this. When it's grounded in your own values, and when it's executed with that kind of rigorous intentionality, then what you wear becomes this integral part of your story, your narrative. It's visible, it's potent, it's political. It's not just your wardrobe anymore. It's kind of like your manifesto.
That's a really powerful way to frame it, a manifesto. Okay, so if we take that idea seriously, that style is communication, it's this language we all use whether we realize it or not, then here's the thought we want to leave you with today. What story, what narrative are you choosing to tell with your own outward expression? What are you maybe supporting or maybe challenging, even when there aren't any cameras around? Even when nobody's writing an article about your shoes, what message are you sending?
Grab the Look by Michelle Obama now, on sale $37.95. Don't miss this chance and build good habits and achieve remarkable results. Buy now today.
Like and subscribe for more Bookhaven podcasts.